You don't always hear the start of a war. There's no loud boom, no big speech. Sometimes it begins in silence. A missing scientist, a broken power grid, a drone that never returns. This is not a normal war. No armies marching, no flags waving. This is a shadow war between two countries that have hated, feared, and watched each other for decades. Israel and Iran. In 2025, the shadows grow darker, the strikes grow louder, and the world moves closer to something it cannot control. Welcome to the story of secrets, of warnings, of a world standing at the edge. This is the Shadow War of 2025. Chapter 1. A Long Hate. They do not talk, they do not meet, but they are always watching each other. This is the story of two countries, Israel and Iran. In 2025, their Cold War begins to burn. Once, many years ago, things were different. In the 1970s, Israel and Iran were not enemies. They even worked together. Iran sold oil to Israel. Israel helped Iran with farming and military tools. But that time is gone. Everything changed in 1979. That year, Iran had a revolution. The Shah, the old king, was kicked out. A new leader took his place, Ayatollah Khomeini. He hated Israel. He called it the little devil. He said it should be wiped off the map. Since then, the two countries have become enemies, deep enemies. But they did not fight with bombs or tanks. They fought with secrets and shadows. In 2025, this shadow war becomes something more. It becomes louder, riskier, closer to a real war. Why? Because both sides feel danger is near. Israel believes Iran is building a nuclear bomb. Iran says it is not, but Israel does not trust it. So, Israel tries to stop it, quietly, with spies, with hackers, and sometimes with explosions. Iran answers back. It supports enemies of Israel, like Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza. It also attacks Israeli targets around the world. One fight, then another, and another, until silence is no longer possible. Let us go to a city, a small office in Tel Aviv. A man named Oren sits at a desk. He is not a soldier, not in the normal way, but he works for Israeli intelligence. He looks at a screen. There is a photo on it, a building in the Iranian desert. Next to it are long tubes, steel, hidden, strange. He says one word: nuclear. Oren picks up a phone. He calls his boss. "I think this is the site," he says. His voice is low, careful, but urgent. His boss replies, "Prepare the team." Now we go to Tehran. A young woman named Lale walks home from her university. She studies chemistry. She wants to help her country use clean energy, not for war, for peace. She does not know that the lab she studies in is watched by satellites, that the man who teaches her is on a list, a secret list, a target list. One day, her professor never comes to class. Layla hears rumors. An explosion. A car bomb. A drone. She is shocked. She is afraid. And something else. She is angry. "They killed him," she whispers. "Why?" That same week, a cyber attack hits Israel. Hospitals go dark. Banks freeze. A major airport shuts down for 2 hours. People panic. News reports say it came from Iran. No one knows for sure. But the message is clear. The game is changing. The world watches. The United Nations meets. Leaders speak. But the war stays quiet. Mostly. Just under the surface. Not a full war. But not peace either. A shadow war. In the mountains of northern Israel, a military base gets ready. Soldiers check missiles. Engineers watch radars. They expect a strike any day. At the same time, Iranian generals meet in a dark room. Maps on the wall. Red lines drawn across borders. One general says, "We must show strength." Another says, "If we hit too hard, it could be war." They all know this is not just about Israel or Iran. It's about power. It's about fear. And it's about history. Back in Tel Aviv, Oren reads a report. Another target hit in Iran. Another scientist dead. He closes his laptop. He looks out the window. Children play in the street below. He wonders, when will this end? And more quietly, will it ever end? This is only the beginning. In 2025, Israel and Iran step closer to the edge, closer to fire, closer to war. But for now, they stay in the shadows, watching, waiting, planning. Chapter 2, The Nuclear Question. Iran says it wants energy. Israel believes Iran wants bombs. The world asks, who is telling the truth? It begins with atoms. Small, invisible, but powerful. Nuclear energy can light up cities or destroy them. In 2025, Iran says it needs nuclear energy. Its leaders say, our people need electricity. They say, this is our right. But Israel does not believe them. Not at all. Israel remembers the past. Iran's old leaders made secret plans. They tried to build a bomb. In 2018, Israel showed the world secret Iranian files. Those files spoke of warheads, missiles, and a project called Ahmad. Iran said, that project is finished. But Israel asked, is it really over? Now, years later, the question is back. Louder, sharper, more dangerous. In a quiet room in Jerusalem, Prime Minister Yael Haran speaks to her security team. She is calm, but her voice is hard. Iran is not honest, she says. They hide things. They lie to the world. One of her generals speaks next. We believe they are close, very close. She nods. We cannot wait. Her words are simple, but heavy. They could mean a new operation or a new war. In Tehran, the story sounds very different. At a press conference, Iran's president stands in front of many cameras. He smiles, but his words are sharp. "We are not building a bomb," he says. "We follow the rules. The West just wants to control us." He raises a finger. "But we will not stop." Behind him, the Iranian flag waves, red, green, and white, strong, proud, defiant. The world listens, and the world wonders. In Vienna, the International Atomic Energy Agency, the IAEA, watches Iran's program. Their job is to inspect, to check, to report. They send experts. They visit nuclear sites. They write long papers. But the truth is, they don't always see everything. Some sites are closed. Some answers are late. Some facts are missing. In a report in early 2025, the IAEA writes, "We are deeply concerned." It adds, "Iran's enrichment levels are now near weapons grade." That means the uranium could be used for a bomb. The world takes a breath. In a small cafe in Haifa, a woman named Noah sits with her friend. She is a teacher. Her friend is a nurse. They talk quietly about school, work, life. Then Noah says, "My son had a drill at school today." For missiles, her friend looks down. "So did mine." Noah shakes her head. "I just want them to grow up. Not in fear. Not like this." Her voice is tired. Her eyes are strong. At the same time, in the city of Isfahan, a man named Reza fixes machines in a power plant. He works 10 hours a day. He is not a soldier, not a leader, just a father of 3. He wipes sweat from his face. The machines are hot, loud, always humming. He thinks about his daughter, Lala, the one who studies chemistry in Tehran. She wants to use science for good, not war. Reza sighs. "I hope the world sees that," he whispers. But the world is afraid. Israel watches the clock. It believes time is running out. Some say, Israel will strike soon. Others say, no, it's just warnings. But no one is sure. In the skies, drones fly. In the sea, submarines move. In cyberspace, silent wars continue. At a university in Washington, D.C., an expert speaks on TV. She says, "This is the most dangerous moment in years." She explains, if Iran crosses the red line, Israel may attack. And then the whole region could explode. But the nuclear question is not just about machines, or uranium, or bombs. It is about trust and fear and old wounds that never healed. In 2025, the question remains, does Iran really want peace? Does Israel really have a choice? Can the world stop what may be coming? Iran says it wants energy. Israel believes Iran wants bombs. The world still asks, who is telling the truth? Chapter 3. Drones in the Sky. No soldiers, no tanks, just small machines flying at night. and explosions in secret places. Welcome to the drone war. They come without warning. No pilots, no engines you can hear, just a soft buzz. Then fire. In 2025, the war between Israel and Iran is mostly quiet. No big battles, no armies meeting face to face. But the sky is not empty. It is full of eyes and weapons. Let's start in the south of Iran, near a military base. It's 2 a.m., dark, silent. The guards are half asleep. Suddenly, a light in the sky. Too small to be a plane. Too fast to be a bird. The light gets closer. Then, boom! A loud blast shakes the ground. A building burns. Papers fly in the wind. Inside that building were computer parts, wires, tools, and secret nuclear plans. The next day, the Iranian news says there was a fire, no injuries. But people on the street whisper, Israel did it, with a drone. Israel does not answer. No, yes, no, no. Just silence. That is how the drone war works. In Tel Aviv, a young engineer named Yonatan sits in front of a screen. He controls a drone with a joystick. His eyes are sharp. His hands are steady. The drone is flying over Syria, over desert, over mountains. He sees buildings, trucks, men with weapons. Yonatan speaks into his headset. Target in sight. His commander answers, Permission granted. Yonatan presses a button. Far away, a small drone dives. It crashes into a truck carrying rockets. The screen shakes, then shows fire. Yonatan leans back. He says nothing. But inside, he feels two things: victory and a heavy kind of silence. Drones are changing the rules. They are cheap. They are small. They can fly for hours. Iran uses them too. Some are made in Iran. Some are sent to groups like Hezbollah and the Houthis. They fly from Lebanon, from Yemen, even from Iraq. Sometimes they aim at Israeli soldiers. Sometimes at civilians. One morning in March 2025, a drone hits a house near the Israeli city of Eilat. A mother and her son are injured. The boy is 7 years old. He asks the doctor, "Why did the sky explode?" The doctor has no answer. In Tehran, a military commander watches drone footage on a big screen. He smiles. "This is our future," he says. "No need for soldiers, just machines." But nearby, a pilot speaks quietly. "Machines don't cry," he says. "They don't care who they hit." Sometimes, drones miss. One night, in northern Israel, a drone is shot down by mistake. It crashes near a school. No one is hurt. But the fear spreads. Children draw pictures the next day. Not of flowers, not of birds, but of drones, with fire behind them. Back in Iran, a mechanic named Samir works in a dusty workshop. He builds small motors for drones. He doesn't know where they go. He doesn't ask. But he thinks about his cousin. She died in an airstrike in Syria. Now, he says, at least we can hit back. In Washington, a group of experts speak on TV. One says, "This is the new kind of war." Another adds, "Cheap technology, deadly results." A third expert says something different. Today, it's drones. Tomorrow, it could be AI weapons. The host nods slowly. "And the targets?" he asks. "Are they always the right ones?" No one answers. A few days later, Israel reports a new drone attack. It hits an army base in the Negev desert. No one dies. But the message is clear. Iran's drones can go deep. Israel replies fast. That night, 5 explosions shake Damascus. No country takes credit. But everyone knows. The people suffer. Always the people. In small homes, in cities, in fields. They hear the buzz. They fear the blast. They count the seconds and pray. Drones do not sleep. They do not feel. They just fly and strike and leave. This is not the war of the past. It's the war of now. And maybe the war of the future. No soldiers, no tanks, just small machines flying at night and explosions in secret places. Welcome to the Drone War. Chapter 4. Secrets and Spies. Scientists disappear. Buildings explode without warning. No one knows who did it, but both sides understand. This is not a normal war. There are no uniforms, no flags, no public speeches. This war is made of secrets, of whispers in the dark, of people who don't exist on paper, but change everything. Let's begin in Tehran. A man walks to his car. It is morning. The sun is just rising. His name is Dr. Hamid Vaziri. He is a scientist, a quiet man. He works on advanced physics. People say he's smart, very smart, too smart. He opens his car door, he sits, he starts the engine. Then, boom! The car explodes. Fire, smoke, screams. By the time police arrive, it's too late. Who did it? Nobody knows. But Iran looks at Israel. In Jerusalem, the Prime Minister says nothing. She stands in front of reporters. They ask questions. She smiles and says, "We do what we must to defend our people. That's all. No names, no details, just a message. In the spy world, silence says a lot." Across the border in Lebanon, a young man walks into a small cafe. His name is Amir, but it's not his real name. He works for Mossad, Israel's secret intelligence agency. He sits, orders tea. He watches the door. A contact arrives, a handshake. A bag changes hands. Inside that bag, blueprints, satellite photos, names, information worth millions, information worth lives. Amir says only 3 words: good work, go. They never meet again. The war of spies is old, but in 2025, it becomes more dangerous. Iran's Quds force also plays the game. They have agents in Iraq, in Syria, even in Europe. They follow targets. They listen to calls. They wait for the right moment. Sometimes they act. In 2025, an Israeli businessman is killed in a hotel in Baku. Gunshot, close range. The killer disappears. No group claims it, but Israeli media calls it revenge. In a small apartment in Vienna, a woman checks her window twice before opening her laptop. Her name is classified. She works for no country. At least, that's what she says. But she sells secrets to the highest bidder. One day, she sends an email. It contains a list of Iranian nuclear workers. It also contains times, locations. Someone pays her in cryptocurrency. She disappears 2 days later. No one sees her again. In this war, people vanish like shadows. In Tel Aviv, a memorial is held for a man named Eli Shamir. He was a former spy. He died during service, they say. No details, no story. His daughter, Maya, gives a short speech. "My father loved his country," she says. "He lived in silence and died the same way." She wipes a tear. The room is quiet. Even the reporters are silent. Because they know. Some stories are never told. In Tehran, a new law is passed. Foreign spies will face death. On TV, leaders speak strongly. "Our enemies cannot hide," one of them says. "We will find them and punish them." Outside, people whisper. Some agree, some are afraid, some stay quiet. In a war of secrets, trust is rare. In London, a reporter writes an article. It talks about the invisible war. She says, "More than 12 scientists have died in strange ways since 2010. She asks, "How many more?" But she also says something else. Maybe both sides are losing something. Maybe it's their own souls. Back in Israel, a drone operator gets a new mission. It's not just to watch, it's to follow a car. No bombs, no attack, just eyes in the sky. Why? Because a known Iranian agent is on the move, and sometimes watching is more powerful than killing. This is the world of secrets, of fake names, of passports with lies, of phone calls that vanish, and always the quiet fear, not of armies, not of tanks, but of the knock on the door, or a click behind your car, or a stranger watching from across the street. Scientists disappear. Buildings explode without warning. No one knows who did it, but both sides understand. Because in this war, truth is dangerous, and silence is a weapon. Chapter 5. Cyber Attacks and Silent Wars. A hospital loses power. A missile site crashes. No guns fired, but damage done. The war is online now. It begins with a click, a code, a signal. No tanks, no bullets, just lines of code flying through wires. from screen to system to chaos. In 2025, the battlefield is everywhere and nowhere. In a hospital in northern Israel, nurses move quickly. Machines beep. Doctors check screens. A child is in surgery. Then, suddenly, everything goes dark. The lights go out. The machines stop. The doctors shout. Backup power, now! 5 minutes pass. The lights return. But something is wrong. A hacker shut down the hospital system. No warning, no noise, just silence. Then danger. Across the border, in Iran, a military base reports a problem. Their missile radar stops working. Screens show false signals. Alarms go off. Soldiers are confused. Was it a bird, a test, or a cyber attack? Nobody knows for sure. But the timing? Too perfect. Too clean. The message? Clear. Cyber war is quiet, but deadly. And in 2025, it grows faster than ever. Let's go inside a secret room in Tel Aviv. Rows of computers. Soldiers in uniform. But no guns, just keyboards. One woman types fast. Her name is classified. Her job? Find weak spots in Iran's systems. She finds one. It's small, a forgotten door in a firewall. She smiles. Got it, she says. Her commander nods. Infiltrate. That one word begins a silent attack. No one dies. But Iran's oil system crashes for 2 hours. Millions lost. Panic grows. And still, no proof. Back in Tehran, cyber experts gather. They search their networks. They look for the ghost. One man says it came from Europe. Another says no. It was from a satellite link. They argue. They guess. They blame. But the truth is hard to find in cyber war. Iran strikes back. They hit Israeli companies. Banks freeze. ATM machines stop. People wait in line, confused and angry. A man in Haifa says, I just wanted to buy food. A woman near him says, why are we always the ones to suffer? Cyber attacks are fast, but their damage lasts. In 2025, both countries build new teams, hackers, analysts, cyber soldiers. Some are just 19 years old, smart, focused, invisible. One of them is named Kava. He works in Iran. He used to love video games. Now, he writes malware. He never sees his targets. He just types, sends weights. Sometimes he hears the results. A city in Israel loses power. A lab is locked for hours. He doesn't smile. But he says, they started it? Then he puts on his headphones and starts again. In Israel, a girl named Noam works at night. She used to be a student. Now she guards power plants from cyber attacks. She drinks coffee. She reads code. She blocks 5 attacks in one shift. She tells her mother, I don't carry a gun, but I'm still fighting. The cyber war is not just between armies. It hits civilians. A phone stops working. A traffic light goes red at the wrong time. A plane changes course in the air. Sometimes it's just a test. Sometimes it's real. A report comes out in Brussels. It says, cyber attacks from both Iran and Israel have doubled in the last year. It warns, one wrong click could start a real war. But who listens? In the U.S., a general says on TV, this is the new world. Cyber is not the future. It's the present. He adds, the next big war may start on a computer screen. The danger is simple. You don't hear it, you don't see it, until it's too late. In a university lab in Tel Aviv, students study cyber defense. One says, it's like chess, but if you lose, people get hurt. His friend answers, and sometimes you don't even know you're playing. A hospital loses power. A missile site crashes. No guns fired, but damage done. The war is online now. Chapter 6. The Arab View. Some Arab countries support Israel. Others back Iran. But most fear what will happen next. The Middle East is a land of history, old cities, old rivalries, and very new problems. In 2025, Israel and Iran are in a shadow war, but they are not alone. Others are watching, listening, worried. Arab countries are caught in the middle. They have their own problems, their own fears, their own alliances. Some choose sides. Some stay quiet. Some change their minds, depending on the day. Let's begin in Riyadh, the capital of Saudi Arabia. The kingdom is rich, powerful, and very careful. It does not love Israel, and it does not trust Iran. But Saudi leaders are afraid of Iran's power, especially its nuclear plans. So, behind closed doors, they share intelligence with Israel. Not loudly, not officially, but clearly. One Saudi officer says in private, if Iran gets a bomb, everything changes. Now, go west to Egypt, the largest Arab country. In Cairo, the streets are busy, markets full, mosques loud, but under the surface, people are tense. The Egyptian government keeps ties with Israel. Peace since 1979. Quiet cooperation. But many people in Egypt feel differently. They don't like Israel. They remember past wars. They support the Palestinians. So Egypt watches from the sidelines, nervous, careful, and very afraid of a bigger war. In Beirut, things are more open. Hezbollah is strong there, a group backed by Iran, armed, trained, ready. They fight against Israel. They fire rockets. They speak loudly. A leader says on TV, if Israel attacks Iran, we will attack Israel. Simple. Director, dangerous. In the United Arab Emirates, the UAE, things are changing. In 2020, the UAE made peace with Israel. They trade. They build technology, Tourists visit. But not everyone is happy. Some young people say, "Why are we friends with Israel while Gaza suffers?" The government replies, "We choose peace. We choose progress." But peace is hard to keep in a region full of fire. In Iraq, the situation is messy. Militias move in the shadows. Some listen to Iran. Others fight them. Israeli drones fly above. Iranian weapons move below. The country is not at war, but war touches it every day. In Jordan, King Abdullah speaks carefully. He wants stability. He wants peace. But his country is small and caught between big players. The king says, "If this conflict grows, we all suffer." He is right. On the streets of Amman, a taxi driver says, "I don't care about politics. I just want to feed my children." His words echo across the region. Most Arab leaders do not want war. Not now. Not again. They remember Iraq, Syria, Yemen. They remember bombs, refugees, pain. But in 2025, the pressure is rising. A drone falls in Bahrain. No one knows who sent it. Was it from Iran? Was it heading to Israel? Or was it a warning? The Gulf states tighten their security. They call for calm. They prepare for worse. In a newspaper in Doha, a headline reads, "If Israel strikes Iran, the region will burn." Below, a map shows arrows, lines of attack, zones of control. Too many weapons, too many fighters, too many questions. One expert says, "The Arab world is divided." Another says, "But they all fear the same thing, a war that cannot be stopped." In a refugee camp in southern Lebanon, a boy draws a picture. Not of a house, not of a school, but of a drone and fire. His mother says he wakes up crying some nights. He asks me, "Will the war come here too?" She has no answer. In 2025, Arab countries are not just watching, they are feeling the heat. Some open their doors to Israel. Some raise their fists for Iran. Some stay in the shadows, hoping to survive. But all of them know, if this shadow war becomes real, it will not stop at two countries. It will spread, fast, far, and the Arab world may pay the highest price. Some Arab countries support Israel, others back Iran. But most fear what will happen next. Chapter 7. America in the Middle. The U.S. tries to stop a war, but it also sells weapons and takes sides. Can it really bring peace? The White House, Washington, D.C. A long table, a serious meeting. The President of the United States speaks. Her voice is calm but firm. We must stop this from turning into a full war. Everyone in the room nods, but they all know. It will not be easy. America has been in the Middle East for a long time. Sometimes as a friend, sometimes as a fighter, always as a power. In 2025, it is still in the middle of allies, in the middle of danger, in the middle of the shadow war between Israel and Iran. Israel is America's close partner. They share intelligence. They run drills together. America gives Israel billions in military aid, fighter jets, missile defense systems, spy satellites. Israel says, "We need this support to survive," and America agrees. But the story with Iran is different, much colder, much harder. Since 1979, relations have been broken. Talks have come and gone. Sanctions go up. Tensions rise. Trust is low. America says Iran must never get a nuclear bomb. Iran says America is trying to control the region. In 2025, U.S. officials walk a tightrope. They try to stop Israel from attacking Iran. And they try to stop Iran from going too far. They talk to both sides. They offer deals. They send warnings. But under the table, they also sell weapons to Israel, to Arab countries, to others. In a weapons deal worth $5 billion, the U.S. sends advanced drones to the UAE. The reason? To protect against Iranian threats. Iran sees this and gets angry. "They are arming our enemies," one official says. Then, an American base in Iraq is hit by a drone. 3 soldiers are injured. U.S. intelligence blames a pro-Iran group. The Pentagon replies with airstrikes. Quick, precise, deadly. But the message is loud. "We're still here. Don't test us." Back in Washington, protests grow. Some Americans ask, why are we involved? Why are we sending more weapons? Why are we always in the middle? A young student stands with a sign. "Peace, not war machines." A veteran nearby answers, "If we leave, it gets worse." 2 opinions, 1 country, still divided. In Tel Aviv, a news report shows American officials arriving. A high-level visit, smiles for the cameras, talks behind closed doors. One Israeli general says, "We are ready to act, but we listen to our allies." That ally is the United States. But in Tehran, the same visit looks very different. On state TV, anchors call the U.S. the Great Satan. Crowds burn American flags. Speeches are loud and angry. One man shouts, "America cannot be the judge and the fighter." Back at the United Nations, diplomats meet again. They sit in circles. They talk. They argue. The U.S. ambassador speaks, "We want peace, but we will not let Iran threaten the region." The Iranian ambassador fires back, "You say peace, but you send weapons." The room goes quiet. Everyone knows. Both sides have a point. A report from a U.S. think tank says, America is trying to balance the fire. But it adds, too much pressure on one side, and the fire may explode. At a military base in Florida, a young analyst watches satellite images. A new missile site in Iran. A strange movement near the Golan Heights. She picks up the phone. "Sending report now," she says. That report could shape the next move. A meeting. A warning. Or a strike. America is far from the Middle East, but its hands are deep in the conflict. In diplomacy, in defense, in dollars. At a coffee shop in New York, a man from Lebanon talks to his friend from Israel. They argue about politics, but they agree on one thing. If a big war starts, the Israeli says, the U.S. will be in it. The Lebanese man nods, and the rest of us will suffer. The truth is not simple. America wants to stop war, but also wants control. It helps allies, but also fuels the fight. It talks about peace, but sells the tools of war. In 2025, the shadow war grows deeper. And America? Still in the middle, trying to calm the fire while holding the matches. The U.S. tries to stop a war, but it also sells weapons and takes sides. Can it really bring peace? Chapter 8. The Red Line. Israel warns, if Iran builds a bomb, we will act. Iran says, touch us, and we'll strike back. The world holds its breath. It's called the Red Line, a point you cannot cross, a final warning, a promise, and a threat. In 2025, that red line is clear for Israel. If Iran builds a nuclear bomb, or even comes close, Israel says it will strike. No more silence, no more shadows, a real attack. Iran hears this and answers with fire. Let's go to an airbase in southern Israel. A pilot walks toward his jet. He puts on his helmet. He checks his controls. A general stands nearby. His voice is serious. Be ready, just in case. The mission is not today, but it could be tomorrow, or next week, or tonight. They are waiting for a signal. In Tehran, scientists work underground. In labs hidden under mountains, they spin centrifuges. They enrich uranium. They say it's for energy, for medicine, for peace. But some of their work is secret, very secret. One scientist whispers to his wife, "They watch everything we do." She asks, "Will they attack?" He nods slowly. Maybe. The International Atomic Energy Agency, the IAEA, sends a new report. It says, Iran now has enough material to build one bomb, if it chooses to. That line changes everything. The world watches, news screens flash. Israel may strike soon. Red line reached. Crisis growing. In the United Nations, world leaders speak. Some call for calm. Others shout warnings. The U.S. tells Israel, wait. Let's try more talks. Russia tells Iran, be careful. Do not go too far. China says little, but watches closely. In Tel Aviv, Prime Minister Yael Haran speaks on national TV. Her voice is calm, but cold. We will not allow a nuclear Iran, she says. We have waited. We have warned. If the world does nothing, we will act. In Iran, the supreme leader speaks to a crowd. His voice is loud, strong, angry. "We are not afraid," he shouts. "If Israel touches our soil, we will destroy them." The people cheer. The message is clear. The red line has become a cliff. One move, and both sides may fall. At an Israeli missile site, a soldier checks coordinates. Target, Natanz. Target, Fordow. Nuclear sites deep in Iran. Hard to reach, but not impossible. He whispers to his friend, "If we go in, we may not come back." The friend nods. "I know." They are ready, but afraid. In Iran, a young mother shops for food. She sees people buying canned goods, water, gas. She asks, "What's going on?" The man behind her replies, "War. They say it could come soon." She looks at her phone. No news yet, just fear. The world holds its breath. Diplomats work day and night. They fly between capitals. They offer deals. They beg both sides to wait. In Europe, protests begin. In Paris, in Berlin, in London. People hold signs. No war. Stop the bomb. Peace now. A child asks her mother, "Why are people yelling?" The mother bends down. They're afraid of something very big. Back in Israel, an intelligence officer reviews satellite images. A new tunnel found near a nuclear site. Heavy trucks, strange heat signals. He makes a call. "It's time," he says. The message goes up the chain, to generals, to the prime minister, to the world. Midnight. Silence. Then, alarms. Iran fires a test missile into the desert. It flies 1,000 kilometers. It hits a target. No one is hurt. But everyone understands. This is not just a test. It is a message. Israel answers with a new drill. Fighter jets fly low over the Mediterranean. They carry real bombs. They practice real attacks. In the dark, no one sleeps well. The red line is no longer a line. It is a burning rope. Between two cliffs. In the wind. Israel says, "This is our last warning." Iran says, "We are not afraid." And the world? The world holds its breath. Chapter 9. Peace talks or just talk? There are meetings, handshakes, promises, but on the ground, the attacks continue. Is peace real or just words? It's a bright morning in Geneva, Switzerland. Blue skies, green flags, clean, quiet streets. But inside a tall, white building, the world holds its breath. Leaders from Israel, Iran, and the United States sit at a long table. Eyes watching, cameras clicking, translators ready. A new peace summit begins. The Iranian foreign minister wears a dark suit. His face is serious. He speaks first. "We want peace, but we will not give up our rights." The Israeli ambassador answers. He also speaks carefully. Peace is good, but not if Iran keeps building bombs. The American mediator sighs. She looks tired. She says, "We are here to talk, not to fight." The meeting begins. But trust is already low. This is not the first time. Not even the 10th. There have been peace talks for years. In Vienna, in Istanbul, in Doha. But each time, the same problem returns. Words are easy. Action is hard. Back in Tehran, the newspapers show pictures of the talks. One headline says, "Hope for peace." Another says, "Do not trust the enemy." At the same time, Iran's nuclear program continues. More uranium, more labs, more questions. In Tel Aviv, people also watch the news. Some cheer, some roll their eyes. One woman at a cafe says, "They talk peace, but they plan war." Her friend nods. They smile for cameras, then send drones at night. That night, there is an explosion at a missile factory in Syria. No one claims responsibility, but everyone has a guess. Was it Israel? Was it a message? Was it meant to stop the talks? The next day, the peace talks continue. More coffee, more smiles, more speeches. But under the table, the tension grows. The U.S. suggests a deal. Iran must stop uranium enrichment above 60%. In return, sanctions will ease. Israel wants stronger terms. Iran must shut down secret sites, they say. Iran pushes back. We will not be bullied. And the clock keeps ticking. On the streets of Beirut, people protest. Some burn pictures of Israeli leaders. Others shout against Iran. One man holds a sign. "We are not your battlefield." In the middle of all the shouting, a child asks his mother, "What is peace?" She does not answer. In the room in Geneva, talks go late into the night. No agreement, just more talking, more paper, more promises. Outside, reporters wait. One asks, "Did they make a deal?" Another says, "Too early to tell." The Israeli ambassador walks out first. He says, "We want peace, but only with real actions." An hour later, the Iranian team leaves. Their spokesman says, "We are patient, but we are not weak." Two messages. One table. Still no peace. In the background, the war continues. A cyber attack hits an Israeli bank. Israel blames Iran. Iran denies it. Then, a drone hits a weapons convoy in Iraq. Iran blames Israel. Israel stays silent. Back and forth. Talk in the day. Attacks at night. In Dubai, a political analyst speaks on TV. "These talks are not real," he says. "They are for show. Both sides want time, not peace." Another expert disagrees. Number talking is better than shooting, even if it's slow. In a refugee camp near the Syrian border, a teacher hears the radio. News of the talks. She turns it off. The children in her class need food, not politics. They need safety, not promises. She looks out the window. A military jet crosses the sky. She whispers, "Please, no more war." On the final day of the summit, The leaders shake hands. They sign a short document. They smile for the cameras. The paper says, "We will continue to talk. We will try to avoid conflict." It is not a peace deal, just a pause, a hope, a maybe. The world watches. Some cheer, some laugh, some cry. Back home, nothing changes. The bombs still fall. The hackers still type. The spies still follow. There are meetings, handshakes, promises. But on the ground, the attacks continue. Is peace real or just words? Chapter 10. The Edge of War. One mistake, one missile, one wrong move. This shadow war could become a real one, and the world may never be the same. It's just after midnight. A siren screams in Tel Aviv. People run, children cry. They rush into shelters. Phones buzz with alerts. Missile detected. Take cover. It's not the first time, but this one feels different. An hour earlier, a missile flew out of western Iraq. High, fast, silent. It wasn't very big, but it flew far. It hit an Israeli army base in the Negev desert. 2 soldiers were injured. One of them is 19 years old. She was writing a letter to her mother when the blast came. Israel reacts fast. Planes take off. Drones in the air. Missiles locked and loaded. But before they strike, the Prime Minister says, "Wait." Because no one knows who sent the missile. Not for sure. Was it Iran? Was it one of their militias? Was it a mistake? The world watches. Everyone asks the same question. Is this it? Is this the moment the shadow war becomes a real war? This has happened before. Close calls, tense nights, but this one feels closer. In 2025, the lines are thin. One mistake is enough. One wrong move could open the gates. In Tehran, the news is quiet. No celebration, no statement. Just silence. Which, in this war, is also a message. In Washington, the U.S. President holds an emergency meeting. She speaks into a microphone. We call for calm. We ask for facts. We do not want war. But behind the scenes, military leaders are already checking plans. Just in case, a few hours later, another drone is spotted. This time near Haifa. It is shot down. No one is hurt. But people are afraid. The markets shake. Flights are delayed. The feeling of safety begins to disappear. On the streets, people talk in whispers. Will there be war? Will Tel Aviv be hit again? Should we leave the city? A mother holds her baby close. She looks up at the sky. She says, "It's just clouds, right?" But she doesn't believe her own words. In Beirut, a Hezbollah commander gives a short message. If Israel strikes Iran, we will strike Israel. And in Tehran, the same line is repeated. If they hit us, we will answer with full force. It is a game of nerves, a test of limits. And the limits are almost gone. In an Israeli bunker, a general stares at a map. His finger points at key sites in Iran. He says, "If we go in, we must go deep. Hit fast. Hit hard." Another officer asks, "And what if they answer with rockets?" The general doesn't blink. "Then we keep going." At the same moment, in an Iranian military room, officers discuss targets. Tel Aviv, Haifa, Israeli bases. One commander says, "If they want war, we will give them war." They all nod. No one smiles. The tension is not just in the air. It's in the ground. It's in the cyber world. It's in every headline. This is not just a Cold War anymore. It's burning just under the surface. Then, something strange happens. A new report arrives from Europe. It says the missile that hit Israel may not have come from Iran. It may have come from a small militia acting alone, without full orders. Maybe, no one is sure. And maybe is not good enough when lives are at risk. Still, that maybe saves the night. For now, Israel does not strike. Not yet. But the jets stay ready. The plans stay open. The shadow hangs in the sky. In a cafe in Istanbul, a man reads the news. He shakes his head and says, "One day, someone will make the wrong move. And when they do, the world will burn. One mistake. One missile. One wrong move." That's all it takes. Israel and Iran are standing at the edge. And the world? The world is holding its breath. This is not just about two countries. This is about everyone. Because if this turns into war, it will not stay in one place. It will spread. It will change the future, and it may never end. One mistake. One missile. One wrong move. This shadow war could become a real one, and the world may never be the same.